So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And first of all, thank you so much for understanding these current situations. And we are going through this COVID-19 pandemic, and that's why we are hosting this virtual event. But again, I would like to thank organizers, Swami and Ilyas, for hosting such a wonderful event. And thank you all for taking your time and joining us. So now let me start my session. Well, I'm going to talk about exam preparation session AZA 203, or you can say AZA 204 beta, and the exam name is Developing Solutions for Microsoft Azure. So welcome on Developing Solutions for Azure. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer as well as MCT India regional lead. Since 12 years, I'm working as a for IT corporate in India as well as around the globe. I'm also Microsoft MVP for Azure, and I'm CTO of a company called Span Labs. So that was my brief introduction, and now let us begin session. It's whether you are in your first IT job or you are a seasoned professional. I'm sure you have worked hard to get where, and I'm sure that you take your role seriously, and so does Microsoft, right? So, and we know like nowadays Microsoft is changing the certification path to role based to help you in your career keep pace with today's business requirement. Microsoft is evolving the certification program to offer what you need to show your skills, to prove your expertise to your employers and peers and get the recognition, as well as to earn some opportunities over there. So as the session title says, the session is about exam preparation for developing solutions for Microsoft Azure. So this session is dedicated to developers who are working with Microsoft Azure or who wants to prove their expertise in platform as a service offering of Microsoft Azure, right? In this session, I'm going to talk about certification path, which is known as developing solutions for Azure. And the exam number is AZ203, or you can say AZ204, which is in beta as of now. Now, what is there in AZ203? What will be there in AZ204? Why we have these two certifications? And which one you should take, and how to crack this examination, some best practices, tips, from where do you get learning material, and what will be the question methodology in the examinations. Everything I'm going to talk about it. But please keep in mind that if you are a developer and you need to clear the examination number as a 203, 204, and your job profile is associated with infrastructure or IT pro, then you have to clear certifications as 103 and 104. That means for developers, you have you have one certification to clear to prove your expertise, which is AZ203, and currently AZ203. Right, and let me start it in the presentation mode.
Hey, Krunal, quick feedback. Can you please be a little louder? Looks like some people are not able to hear properly. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So let's take a look on key takeaways from this certificate. So first of all, obviously you will get something that will help you to prepare for this examination. But along with that, I'm going to discuss the topics and give you a breakdown of what is there in the test, what you should prepare, what will be the weightage of particular topics in this examination, and as well as some study material, links, resources, and some tactics to clear this examination. So we are going to discuss what would be there in AZA 203 as well as AZA 204 beta, and then I will give you the breakdown of these questions, right? And finally, some results, right? So now let us start with the certification, right? So first of all, for many people, it is surprising, like why it is AZ203 or AZ204 and not AZ200 or 201 or 202. So well, originally the intent was to have two exams, AZ200, which was known as Microsoft Azure Developer Core Solutions, and 201, which is known as Microsoft Azure Developer Advanced Solutions. So initially we had two examinations. One is for Azure Developer Core Solution and one is for Azure Developer Advanced Solution. But then Microsoft, it would be too much, and so they decided to keep. And then there was one transition exam called AZ202. Nowadays, Microsoft has retired all these examinations. So we do not have 200 and we do not have 201 and we do not have 202, but we have one examination which is 203. And the next one would be 204. Again, guys, current one is 203. Next one would be 204. But today, in this month of May 2020, 204 beta is also launched. So I'm going to discuss all those things, but you have to keep in mind like year 203 and next one would be 204. Now let us take a look on this Azure applications and infrastructure certifications overview. So this is the current structure. First of all, you can see in the left hand side, AZ900 is the fundamental one. And there are few associate level certifications, such as Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate or Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate or Microsoft Certified Azure Security Engineer Associate, right? So there is no prerequisites for any of these associate level certifications. So you can directly jump in for developer level certifications or infrastructure level certifications, that means admin level certifications, or the security engineer associate level certifications. And if you feel comfortable, you can first take Azure 900, which is the fundamental of the Azure, and then you can jump into these certifications. It's up to you. But if you are a developer and you don't want to understand the basics and you don't want to prove your skills on the basics of Azure, you can directly jump into associate level certificate. You can see on my screen that we have mentioned like there are role-based certifications, and we have two roles mentioned here. One is associate role, one is expert role. You can see like Azure DevOps Engineer Expert is an expert level certification, and to get this expert level certification, there is a prerequisite of associate level certification. So to go and to achieve this Azure DevOps Engineer Experts, you have to clear either this Azure Administrator Associate or Azure Developer Associate, right? But for associate level certifications, there is no prerequisites over there, right? Now see now let us understand first of all the developer's audience profile, right? So let us start with AZ203, AZ204, which is in beta. That's what I already mentioned. You can see on my screen like what Microsoft mentions, like the developers who are going to appear for this examination would have to understand few of the infrastructure related services. So you can see there would be folks who are working with cloud solution architects, who are working with cloud DBAs, cloud administrators, and other people in IT to deliver your application from end-to-end delivery. So you are a developer, but you have to associate with, in your organization, you have to associate with some other admin guys also, IT pro guys also, architects also, DBAs also. So here you have to understand little bit of infrastructure stuff. So I know this is a certification for the developers, but still few infrastructure related services you have to understand. Now this particular exam, Azure Developers Examination, is for the job role of developers who design and build cloud solutions, who design and build apps for the cloud, services, APIs, and the developers would be the part of the entire product development cycle, from solution design to development and deployment to testing and maintenance. So this certification is bit lengthy, you can say. It would cover all the aspects of application development to deployment to testing, right? So you have to understand all those things thoroughly in Azure if you want to appear for this examination. Now, first of all, let us compare with what are these two examinations. So as I told you that we have two examinations available as of now. One is Azure 203 and one is Azure 204, which is in beta today, right? So what is this mystery? So well, currently we have this 203 is existing and most popular exam amongst the Azure developers. But at the same time, Microsoft has announced Azure 204. This is the beta version. It is announced on February 24 on 2020. And this would be the future of this role specific examination. Now you can see this Azure 203 expires, or you can say retires, on August 31st. So still you have 4-5 months to appear for this examination, right? And at the same time, beta is also available for 204, which would be the live examination from August 31st, right? And again, mentioned Microsoft has announced that on May 18th, on the Monday, some of the content for this examination, right? So still it is in beta, something would be updated, something would be changed. So if you want to appear for this examination right now, what I think is 203 is the best one. But again, let us compare what is there in Azure 203 and what is there in Azure 204. What's the difference and all those things over there, right? But please keep in mind, till August 31st, 2020, this 203 is there. You can take this examination, right? Okay. Now the question is like, should I go for 203 or 204 beta? Right? It's like, hey, we have two exams available. One would be expired and one is in beta. Which one should I take? Which one we should focus on, right? So let's say here I will give you some hints, or rather say some guidelines for you to keep in mind while taking this decision, right? So we can say like Azure 204 is steep and we do not have enough study material specified for this test, right? At the same time, there is no experience of other test takers. So you'll go out and market and you will say, hey, have you cleared Azure 204? Any guideline or any suggestions or any hints you can give it to me? And there will be very few or less developers available who have taken this 204 beta examination, right? Along with that, for length of the test would be longer over there, right? And some questions do not count over there. One very important part to keep in mind, like generally when you appear for Microsoft certification, we get the result at the end of the test on the screen with the score, right? Beta exam, there would be delayed in result. It might take up to 6. So when you finish your examination, you will only thank you for appearing for this examination. There is what message you will get on the screen and you will get the result in next 6 weeks, up to 6 weeks. So you would not get immediate result, right? So there is also one key point to keep in mind if you are trying to appear for 204 beta. But if you go for Azure 203, you can see it is still valid. We have plenty of study material available. And also we have lots of developers who can share their experience, like what is the question methodology in the examinations and what you should focus on which topics are having heavy weightages and all those things, right? And very important thing is you appear for this Azure 203. Your certification is valid for next 2 years. One more thing I would like to share here. Like say if you already passed Azure 203, you really don't need to worry as your certification would be valid for 2 years. So that means if today or like till August 31st, if you appear for AZ 203, your certification would be valid for 2 more years. So since 2022, right? So it's fine. Like we have lots of material available and guides available and experience of the exam takers available. So what I will think, I would prefer to go with this AZ 203 over there, right? Again, what is there in 203? The exam breakdown and the exam breakdown of 204. I would come to this point later on. Now here you can see. Let us discuss the learning path for this Azure Developer Associate certifications. Right? You can see periods essentially, which makes up the content for, and you can see this exam covers wide range of topics in very. You can see starting with the left hand side top. One need to understand Azure infrastructure as a service compute solutions. So yes, this examination is for developer, but still you have to understand little bit of infrastructure related services, right? So what happens, like, at the time you develop an application, and many times you need to deal with infrastructure team who provision VMs, IP ranges, or you have to plan your hybrid connectivity. So as a developer, still you have to engage with the infrastructure team, and that's why even as a part of this examination, you have to understand little bit of infrastructure services, right? Now, what infrastructure services you should focus on, what they will ask, I mean, what would be the content or what would be the topics that would be go inside infrastructure related services, all those things. The breakdown of the topics I will give you in upcoming slides, right? Underneath infrastructure as a service compute solutions, you can see there is an Azure platform as a service, right? Things like app services, Azure SQL, DNS of the apps, and SSL settings of these applications would be the part of it. Like how to create staging environment and how to scale up your applications, and all those things would be part of this Azure platform as a service compute solutions. Right now, these stuff's going to a bigger weightage, obviously, because it's a developer specific certification. So this stuff will have bigger weightage over there. Right, and as I told you, I'll give you the breakdown of these topics. After that, there would be Azure Storage and then Azure Security. So these two are kind of middleware, right? And then it comes monitoring, troubleshooting, and optimizing solutions. So where you talk about application insights and metrics, creating alerts, and then caching and all those things over there. And then it comes Azure services and some third-party services, like how to connect two independent applications together and message queuing kind of thing would be here, right? And then you earn this AZ 203, and then you appear for this AZ 203 developing solutions for Microsoft Azure, and you earn Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate certification. So these all are the high-level sharpers, right? And now let us take a look into low-level pieces of all these things, right? But before we go ahead, first of all, let us understand exam basics, right? So you can see there will be approximately 40 to 60 questions in the examinations, right? And nice thing what I have noticed here, like in comparison with Microsoft exams in old days, here we get partial credit for some of the questions, right? There would be no penalty for guessing, right? And some questions would be mandatory. You cannot speak, you cannot skip, and sometimes you cannot go back also. So this is what you have to keep in mind. Along with these MCQs, like, generally we know that in examinations, there would be MCQs. Microsoft examination, there would be MCQs. But here, along with the MCQs, some question with 2 or 3 answers, right? And we have to pick all those apply. And we get credits to the partially selected answers also. You will also get some questions of drag and drop, some kind of interactive questions. So you for some of the questions with partial credits and there is no penalty, no negative marking for wrong guessing. So I would like to tell you here that, please make sure you attend all the questions, even if you don't have idea about the particular one. And as I told you, sometimes you can't skip questions and sometimes you can't go back also. It depends on the scenarios. In this Azure 2.0, like, questions, MCQs or drag and drop based on case studies. So it would be like few MCQs and then there would be a case. You have to read and understand the case studies. And again, there would be some more intense MCQs based on that particular case, right? Now, when you talk about a case study contains bunch of information about, say, some kind of customer, what they are currently running, what is their intent, their goal, what they are trying to achieve, and what is the current drawbacks of their organizations, how to achieve or how to solve these customers' drawback, and all those things like how many VMs are there, and then how many applications are there, and some customers are there in USA region, and some customers are there in some another region, and there is like different kind of stories would there, right? Scenarios would be there. And then you have to consume this information and go for questions based on these particular scenarios, right? Again, Azure 204, there will be some performance-based questions, right? I'm telling you, performance-based questions would be there in Azure 204 or even in beta. There might be some performance-based question. Now, what is the meaning of performance-based question? It is like hands-on. It is like you will log into the portal from that examination window and then you perform some hands-on to clear the scenarios, to pass the test over there, right? So there would be MCQs, there would be drag and drop, there would be case studies, there would be performance-based questions, and you'll get around 40 to 60 questions over there, right? And again, you have around 180 minutes, right? So generally what I do is like, I spare 150 minutes to answer questions and 30 minutes to read instruction, comments, case studies, and reporting and all those things, right? So this is also you should keep in mind, like you have 180 minutes and you have to go through all these process over there, right? Fine. Now let us take a look on exam overview and topic weightages. Right. So first of all, you can see like in Azure 203, there is a topic called develop as an infrastructure as a service compute solutions. I told you there would be some services related to infrastructure which you need to understand, and it takes 10 to 15% of your examination questions, right? You have to understand little bit of infrastructures, VMs, ARM templates, and containerizations to clear this exam. Again, in depth, I will tell you what will go in this particular topic. One in the list is like develop Azure platform as a service compute solution. And here you can see it takes 20 to 25% of these exam questions. Well, this is all platform as a service related stuff, and it is like, very easy and fabric to developers. Things like app services, APIs, web applications, Azure SQL, relational database will be part of this, right? Then third one is develop for storage, which will again take 15 to 20% of the examinations, and like working with storage accounts, manage blobs in Azure, storage and database would be right. And then there would be some security related questions, which will take again 10 to 15%. So where they might ask you about role-based access control, working with Azure Active Directory and integrate your application with Azure AD, maintaining your Azure Key Vault, encrypt and decrypt data at rest and in transit. So all those things will be part of this Azure security stuff. And beyond security, there will be monitoring, troubleshooting, optimizing solutions. Again, it will take around 10 to 15% of your exam questions. And finally, it's like connecting and consuming Azure and third-party services, which is again 20 to 25%, right? So these are the key weightage of Azure 203. Again, this is the exam that you can still appear August 31st. Right? Now let us take a look on Azure 204. And now here you can see the first part is develop Azure Compute Solution, which is 25 to 30%, right? And here you read correct here, right? It is develop Azure Compute Solution. If I go back to my previous slide, you can see first 2 points is Azure Infrastructure as a Service Solutions and Platform as a Service Solutions. Now these two are merged in a one, which is Azure Compute Solutions, right? So two services are merged into one here, right? And percentage is also increased like 25 to 30%. And then Azure Storage, same like previous one, is 10 to 15%. Then implement Azure Security, which is 15 to 20%. Then again monitoring, troubleshoot, and optimize solutions, 10 to 15%. And connect and consume Azure and third-party services, which is 25 to 30%. So if you see the first bullet, Azure Compute Solution, which is combination of infrastructure and platform-specific services, and the last part is like connect and consume Azure and third-party services. Both are around 25 to 30%. Like percentage the examination questions would be two top, right? Today topic. So the first one is develop infrastructure as a service compute solutions, right? So here you need to understand how to provision VMs and how to create ARM templates, how to implement Azure disk encryptions for the VMs. So all those things will be part of these implement solutions that use virtual machine, right? Well, this is in Azure 203, right? And again, guys, if you see like here, you don't need to remember how to provision ARM templates and all those things in detail. But still, it would be great if you memorize some of the commandlets and some of the PowerShell commandlets, and then some of the basics of ARM templates and how to consume ARM templates and how to publish ARM templates, all those things over there. Right, you can see there would be also a stuff related to Azure Managed Kubernetes Service Cluster, and like how to push container image to the ACR, how to set service principals, how to run container using Azure Container Instances, and how to scale up and scale down AKS cluster nodes, how to upgrade master, and how to implement monitoring and logging for these ACIs and AKS over there, right? So containerization related questions would be also there, guys, right? Then after that, it would be about implementing batch jobs and batch services, like how to run and manage batch jobs by using batch service API, Azure CLI, Azure Portal, and other tools, right? And along with this Azure portal, the knowledge of the PowerShell, Azure CLI, ARM templates would be very, very useful here. So when you are learning or preparing for this examination, obviously you can perform something from the stuff from the portal, but at the same time also have some experience of PowerShell and Azure CLI and the ARM templates over there, right? And as I told you, probably you don't need to remember how to write entire ARM templates or don't need to remember PowerShell commandlets, but still little bit of knowledge would be helpful here. Now, after this infrastructure as a service compute solution, there would be platform as a service compute solution, which will occupy 20 to 25%, right? Yeah, this is the past specific services. And like creating an app service, web apps, it will cover tasks like creating an Azure app service, implementing background tasks by using web jobs, and what would be the service plan, and how I can use web jobs with the same service plan, and how to enable diagnostics, logging, implementing health monitoring, as well as hosting your web apps on Azure, and web apps for containers also. So when you are hosting your web application to the Azure, whether you want to go for a normal web app for Azure or you want to containerize your apps, all those things will be part of this particular topic. And then there will be create Azure App Service for mobile apps, right? And it covers implementing of push notifications, enabling offline sync for mobile app, and some service which should be in preview mode. And always remember, guys, when you go to docs.microsoft.com and you see that service with the preview option, this would not be a part of your examination, right? And then certain Azure service API apps, like creating a documentation for API by open source and other tools would be there. Well, you all know like Azure API apps are nothing. I mean, I hope you guys know like what is the difference between API apps and the Azure web apps, right? API apps are having Swagger definition implemented, and this is how it is different from Azure web apps, right? So you have to understand all those things thoroughly before you appear for this examination. And then there would be very important topic of Azure functions. You have to understand bindings and connector and triggers for these Azure functions and Azure durable functions. Then you can say Azure function X by using Visual Studio as well as Python Azure functions, and how to implementing timers, webhooks, data operations, right? And then there will be some case study based on all of this mentioned and how customer can achieve more, how customer meet their end goal, etc. Right? So you spend your lot of the on this section in your Azure 203 examination is very important sections to clear your certification over there. Right? And then it would be like Azure storage, which would be again 15 to 20%. And here you can see Azure storage of topics such as solutions for storage tables. And here it covers design policies for tables, query tables, storage from code, and implement partitioning scheme, or to understand how to work with different command line options and C#. Right? You should spend some time here on learning like how do I create storage account from my C# code, how do we upload and download using C# and stuff like that, right? And then develop solutions that use relational database like Azure SQL, where it discusses provisioning and configuring databases, elastic pools for Azure SQL database, knowing the pricing models, various ways of securing your is a key point to keep in mind here. Like, and you would also understand about Azure SQL database serverless instances, right? You will also work with blob storage and move items in the blob storage between different storage accounts and containers, and then blob retention policies, shared access signature, etc. would be very important while you are working with blob storage. So when you are preparing for the blob storage, perform like how you can migrate a blob between two different storage accounts or between two different containers, and also go with shared access signature exercises over there, right? And then it would be questions related to Cosmos DB storage, right? It's like what APIs you should consume in Cosmos DBs, like Graph APIs or Cassandra and all. And then again, partitioning strategies and consistency stuff, right? So understanding of right kind of storage account with right feature is very important to remember here. Right, so they might give you some case studies, and you have to understand, okay, in this situation, what kind of storage service a customer should implement, and what should be customer strategies, and what should be the service plan. So all those things you have to keep in mind here, right? And then it would be Azure security, which is 10 to 15%, right? And here is the authentication topic, which talks about authentication with certificates, form-based authentications, and how to implement multi-factor authentications with Azure AD. Like you need a premium Azure AD account, or what should be your Azure AD types, right? And then if you go to web app resources, there would be an identity section and how to manage identity for your applications, like identity management and how to implement access control with role-based access control, shared access signature again, and then how to secure your data solutions with encryption and decryption of data, and how to encrypt and decrypt data at rest and in transit, and how to implement key vault to store your secret and certificates, right? So all these things would be part of your Azure security specific stuff over there, right? And then there monitoring, troubleshooting, and optimizing the solutions over there, right? So you also need to spend some time to understand about auto scaling. Like, when we work with virtual machine, we can auto scale our virtual machine with using virtual machine scale set. And same way we have auto scaling in app services. You need to understand the patterns, like how do you configure auto scaling rules, whether you are going to configure rules based on metrics, based on schedule, and all those stuff. And you also need to learn how to implement AKS scaling strategies, like how you want to scale your nodes in Kubernetes cluster. And then you have to, and if I talk about optimization of the solutions, you have to understand caching as a part of optimizing your solutions. You should learn and understand how to store and retrieve data in Azure Redis cache, and how to implement CDN for better user content delivery and all those things. And finally, you have to understand solutions to support monitoring and logging. So app service provides application insights by default, and then how to analyze and troubleshoot solutions using Azure Monitor, deploy alerts and application insights, web test, right? So these are the important points to keep in mind. And finally, there would be connect and consume to Azure and third-party services, which is also having around 25 to 20 to 25% of the weightage in these examinations. So it's like you're going to talk about logic apps, and developing logic app is very simple, and it's a graphical interface to, but you need to understand about custom connectors and templates for logic apps. That is a key point to understand, like how to use custom connector and template for logic apps, and then how to integrate Azure Search within solutions. So here they are going to cover like how to create Azure Search Index, import data, and query the index and all, right? And then there would be developing event-based and message-based solutions. So it is like, how do you implement Azure Event Grid, and based on some event in the event grid, how to push your data or message to some other services or other applications, and how to implement notification hubs and event hubs. And then like if you have two different applications and you want to pass data from one application to another application, or you can say two different applications wants to communicate with each other. So how to use Azure Service Bus and Azure Queue storage queues and all those things, right? So like these two topics are very, very important here, right? So logic apps, search, and event-based solutions and message-based solutions, then Azure functions, storage, security. So all those things will be part of these examinations over there, right? Now, guys, very important part, right? So all these topics, what I have explained you, right? The content of these key topics would be same, whether you go for 203 and 204. But what would not be there in 204? So here you can see, I personally feel 204 is more of a developer focused exam, right? And in 203 and 204, content of the examination is same, right? I mean, almost all the topics are same, but percentage weightage has slightly changed. Like as we discussed, two sections like infrastructure as a service and platform as a service have been merged into one. It's like a complete set, right? Even in 204, they have removed the search. We do not have any search specific topics over there. In 204, we do not have Azure Batch, mobile apps, API apps, right? Even in 204, they have removed SQL database and storage tables. And there are no new topics have been added here. So if you compare 203 and 204, we still have Azure functions. We still have storage, but in storage, we do not have table storage, right? In Azure App Service, we do not have mobile app, do not have batch, right? And security part is almost same. And then we do not access to things. It is more about Cosmos DBs kind of thing, right? Non-relational databases over there. And then like they have percentage of these questions are slightly changed. There will be a lot of questions related to logic apps and functions, all those things over there, right? So overall, 204 becomes easy, and there are less topic in comparison of 203, but with different percentage weightages, right? So if you compare 204 and 203, these topics, what you can see on my slide, are removed. They have not added new topics over there. But for all other topics, percentage is changed, right? So 204 is more developer focused. That is what I feel over there, right? And then what are the different ways to prepare for this examination, right? So I would like to tell you two things over. Like, first of all, you can take help of Microsoft Learn, right? It will help you to build your practical job skills with easily accessible and self-paced courses. I have gone through the Microsoft Learn. Otherwise, I will show you in a minute. You can also go for examination page and you can find exam details, what will be the skills measured, other training options. You can schedule your exam over there, right? And all the exam objective domains with the percentage, what I have explained you, are available on these official exam pages over there. And along with that, you can go for some classroom trainings and you can appear for practice test, right? Now, what is practice test in Microsoft Learn? Let me show you here. It's on my screen here. I hope my screen is visible, guys.
Yes, Krunal.
The browser is visible, right? I opened the browser here.
Browser is yet to load. It's not yet visible. I still see the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, so let me know once the browser is loaded.
I still don't see that yet. I think you shared only the presentation, not the screen, I believe. Can you check your shared content? Maybe you might need to share the desktop or so.
Where do?
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
share.
this is
Yeah,
what.
just click on the share button again, and then you can see whether if it's only the PPT which was
Yeah,
selected or.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's visible, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now I could see the
Yeah.
browser.
Yes. So here you can see, guys. First of all, I'm on this official examination page of AZ203. And as I mentioned, they mentioned like, this examination is still available till August 31st, 2020, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you scroll down on this page, you can see here, you get all the skills measured over there. All these things I have mentioned percentage wise. And you can download the entire examination outline. Along with that, if you scroll down here, you can see it's like, let me refresh the page. It shows we have two ways to prepare. Like you can take one free online training and you can go for some instructor LED paid training. Now here you can, if you come to online free training, it is all learning path given, right? It is all Microsoft Learn, like create serverless applications, it's like Azure functions, connect your services together, which is like 20 to 25 percentage. Serverless applications is like, around again 20 to 25 percentage. And then storage specific, some examples are there, right? Which is 10 to 15 percentage. And then Azure virtual machine is again like, 10 to 15 percentage. And then manage resources in Azure, right? And monitoring and troubleshooting over there, and some security related stuff are there, right? You can see this is all learning path, and here you can see even for the security we have 7 modules for learning. For this monitoring and troubleshooting we are having 6 modules over there, right? Application insights and all. And same way for Azure App Service we have 6 modules. And then you can see for this Azure infrastructure specific things, we have 4 modules, right? And then store data in Azure, there are 5 modules. So each and everything is given here in detail, right? And before you appear for this examination, I would recommend strongly to go through all these modules. It's free of cost, right? It's the best way to learn. You will get lots of hands-on labs over there. You will get some documentation, videos, lots of things will be over there, right? Apart from that, you can obviously visit docs.microsoft.com, where you'll get lots of theoretical questions, because there would be some scenarios like that you cannot practically perform. So that time, if you go to docs.microsoft.com, it will help you a lot, right, to understand specific key points would be there you should keep in mind. And then here you can see, like this is what you can change your country, you can change our country, and you can then go and schedule examination. Now here you can see this is what my official practice test, right? So there are different vendors available, right? So you can go any vendor specific practice test, right? And here you can see this is like AZ203 official practice test, right? And it's supported by MeasureUp and Pearson and all those things. And then you can appear for these examinations over there, right? Is a practice test. But again, to keep one thing in mind, these are the practice tests, right? The content of these tests are actually not the same. Don't assume like it would be the same what you'll get in examination, right? Sometimes the practice tests are more difficult than the original examination. Sometimes practice tests are very easy and they are not according to the examination. But still, if you go through these practice tests, you will get the flavors. You will understand what they will ask you in the examinations, what type of case studies would be there, what type of drag and drop could be there, CQs would be there, right? So these are the practice tests. And again, I'm telling you, there will be lots of vendors who are providing you the practice test. So you can take whatever you like to take over there, right? So Microsoft Learn is there, docs.microsoft.com is there, and then this practice test is there, right? So this is what you should use as a material. The base one is Microsoft Learn, and then you can also appear for some examination. Apart from that, it's your wish if you want to go for some classroom training or what, right? And yeah, these are the two for docs.microsoft.com for AZ203 and AZ204. Again, AZ204 is in beta, as I mentioned, and this is the link for this official practice test, right? And as I told you, like go through docs and keep constant engagement with the community. That is the best way, right? Sometimes like you can connect to the peers, you can go to these user groups, and then you can go for some live events which is hosted by Microsoft, and then you can get connected, you can have some networking with your peers, and then you can get some question answered over there, right? And as I told you, that will be not easy to deploy and test all features of this examination. So that time you can go for docs.microsoft.com, right? And also, like, try to get as much as hands-on practice. So you can and use this Microsoft Learn, or even if you can go with an Azure account, you can create some Azure free account, and then you can practice everything at your own, right? And like again, this, as I told you, exam questions are action based. There would be interactive questions, there would be, even in 204 there would be performance based questions where you'll open portal and you'll perform something, right? And then there would be MCQs and drag and drop. And again, one thing to keep in mind, understand the technology with the portal. Along with that, understand PowerShell modules and Azure CLIs, right? And don't just create the storage account from the portal. Use other methods and understand parameters to grasp how the feature works, right? So like, you create storage account from the portal, but at the same time learn how to create storage account using this C# or PowerShell commands, commandlets, or using Azure CLI, right? So all those things are important to understand to clear this examination, right? So yeah, that's it from my side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Krunal. So there are a few questions which I would like you to answer. So I'm just looking at the the Q&A panel here.
Yeah, please. So
Yeah.
let us take
So one of the questions
questions.
is, will taking AZ 900 help in taking AZ 203? Can you please suggest?
Yeah, so there are two things to keep in mind. Even if you go for AZ 900, you would learn basics of Azure, right? Like resource groups and even some infrastructure specific stuff over there, right? So what I feel like, if you go with AZ 900 first and then you go for AZ 200, you'll get some warm up kind of exercises over there, right? But practically, even if you don't go with AZ 900, you can directly go for 203. It would not be, I mean, the knowledge of 900 would not be that much fruitful for 203. But still, if it's like, one warm up test you have given and then you appear for 203 kind of thing, right?
Sure. And there is one more question. Is there any coding involved in all the certification exams, or it is just CLI and PowerShell?
No, there would be no coding involved, right? There would be no coding involved in this examination. It would be MCQs, and then it would be some PowerShell commandlets, some code block given to you, and you have to drag and drop the code block, like what will be the first line of the code, what will be the last line of the code. But you are not going to write any code. You are just going to drag and drop kind of thing. You are going to uh, arrange the given code in a proper sequence kind of thing would be there. Right, but yeah, along with PowerShell, the knowledge, along with Portal, the knowledge of PowerShell and commandlets would be very, very important.
So one more question, more of tips somebody is asking, right? Top 3 topics to focus in AZ 204 to clear the exam.
To clear AZ204, top 3 topics. So first, you have to focus on web apps and API apps. Second one, you have to focus, and so when you say web apps, also keep in mind Azure functions. So web application functions and play the first one. Second one is about consuming third-party and other Azure-related services like logic apps and service-based solutions, message-based solutions and event-based solutions. And third one, I would like you to focus on this monitoring and alert optimization and all those things, right? So these are the 3 topics which covers around 70% of this examination, and then 10% is storage, 10% is security kind of thing.
Okay, there is also another question from Mr. Rajesh. Is there any negative marks for wrong answers?
No negative marks.
Okay, great. And Nishank is looking for the practice test link. So Krunal, if you could post it here, maybe after the session in the announcements, that'll be great. Yeah. And
Sure,
Nishank, all
I'll
the
post
slide
it.
decks would also be updated, and then we'll share with the community. So you should be able to go through all the links present in the deck too. And one more question: is AZ203 is better than AZ300 exam for a senior developer?
AZ300 is like architecting your Azure solutions. And when you are architecting your solutions, you must have in-depth understanding of infrastructure specific stuff also. While 203 is specific to developers where you need less understanding of infrastructure specific things, right? So if it's a senior developer, you have to prove your job role is a developer, then I would say 203 is the best one. But after 203, what to do? Then you can go for 300 to prove that you are an architect over there, right? Along with that, what I suggest that after 203, even you can go for 400 for DevOps specific things, right? So developer has to get associated with DevOps cycle. So as a developer, I would suggest go with 203, then go for 400. Then if you feel like you have some clear understanding of infrastructure specific stuffs also, then you can go for 300 or 301.
So next question from Hariom. In AZ204, do we need to learn about the Kubernetes?
Little bit of.
Okay, little bit.
So there would be 10 to 15% weightage on Azure virtual machine, infrastructures, Kubernetes stuff, right? So yeah, little bit of Kubernetes you have to understand. Not in depth, but still you should know what is master and what is slave nodes and like what is nodes and pods and how your web app runs inside container, inside nodes, how to upgrade your cluster, how to scale up your clusters, replica sets, little bit of, not in detail, but little.
Okay, and there is a question from Sriraj. Any news from MS when 204 will come out of beta?
So you can say as of now, like till August 31st, we have AZ 203, right? So AZ 203 will expire on August 31st, right? That means from September 1st, AZ 204 would not be in beta, it would be out of beta. That is what we can guess.
Another question. Can we attend this exam from home? The certifications, or we have to go to the Prometric centers or so?
Right. I would like to tell you one thing, like this question is tricky to answer because right now, because of this corona, right, and this COVID-19 pandemic, Microsoft is also planning something that you can take this examination from home and all. So still we have to wait for that news.
Okay. And somebody is looking for AZ200 and 201 tips.
201 is expired at all.
Okay. 200?
200 and 201 is expired.
Oh, okay, both are expired. Okay.
What Microsoft has done initially, 200 was core solutions for Azure developer. 201 was advanced solutions for Azure developer. And then if someone is given 200, and when this exam expired, they had one transition exam, which was 202. So now today, 200, 201, and 202, all three are expired. So you can't appear for this examination now.
There's also another question which is not directly related to Azure. So are there any developer certifications specifically for .NET, ASP.NET development, etc.?
Yeah, there are, but I think I would not be the best one to give you answer on it.
Sure.
But still, if I'm not wrong, for MVC specific, it was 486. But I'm not. It was the old time back, so I'm not sure what is new as of now.
Sure. I think the Microsoft certifications link would be the best to understand all the different certifications there.
Correct.
Yeah. And a couple of our audience are looking for details about cloud architect. I know it's not part of this session. Maybe if you could touch upon brief on what kind of things are needed, maybe that would be very helpful for them.
So again, for cloud architect, there are two examination papers are there. One is AZ300 and one is AZ301. But again, just like 203 is going for 204, same way 300 and 301 are also going to be changed very soon. So these are the two examinations for this cloud architect specific roles over there. But again, if you go for cloud architect specific roles, it will cover a lot of things like, infrastructure specific stuff, hybrid connectivities would be there, point to point express routes and virtual networks. And then this one storage would be there, heavily used. And then DevOps kind of stuff would be there. Containerization, Kubernetes would be there. Right? Security would be there in depth. So yeah.
So one more question: are we getting any free vouchers or discount during this pandemic period?
No, actually, we are not.
Yeah, I think we are not affiliated to talk about that too.
Right,
Microsoft should
right,
make some official announcements around that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And yeah, someone is asking, can I have the PPT? Yes, of course, we will share the PPT and the recordings and everything. The links will be posted in the Facebook and the meetup group, which I showed. So if in case you're not aware of it, just scroll above in this Q&A panel. On top, we have both the meetup and our Facebook links.
Right, right.
Next question: if exam is retired, will it be useful in future?
Yes, so even if you see the thing is what if you clear the exam, your certification is valid for 2 years. So say the exam is getting retired on August 31st and say you clear your certification on August 31st, that means for 2 years you are valid certified as a developers and the certifications are getting keep on changing, right? So once if you cleared the exam, that means you have certification which is valid for next 2 years. So don't worry about it.
So there is also another question from James about, is there a dedicated path for a cloud security professional in Azure? So there
Yes.
is, yeah, there is. Maybe if there is more interest, we'll definitely have another dedicated webinar on security related examinations
Right.
too.
So there is an examination number AZ500 which is dedicated to Azure security experts.
Right. And Lakshman is looking for if there is any session on AZ400 in our pipeline. Yes, definitely. So we would be sending a feedback form after the end of this session too. So just let us know about what's your interest about in this format of the session. So we'll definitely plan for more exam specific sessions too. And how do we get better at scenario based questions? Krinal?
So this is like, as I told you, you go through this Microsoft Learns over there. And again, say if you want to appear for this examination, see these are like, you are going to prove your expertise over there. So first of all, you have to understand the technology thoroughly, right? What a technology can do, what web apps can do, or what we can achieve using Azure web apps, and like what would be a customer scenario over there, right? So even if you go to Microsoft Learn, there will be lots of understandings. Apart from that, I will share some links from my GitHub where you will get like, some of the case studies which Microsoft has also mentioned. So you can go through those case studies also, and you can understand what kind of questions a customer can face, what kind of problem a customer can face, and how Azure could be useful, or as an Azure developer or as an Azure architect, how you should provision a solution for this particular scenario, right? So there will be some case studies available. I will share those links.
Sure. All right. I think we are almost done for the
So,
first session.
Swami, 1 minute, only 1 minute, if you don't mind. I
Yeah.
have one question here directly asked to me from Rajesh Narayana. And he's asking like how many maximum attempts would be there to attend the certification program. So if there is no such limit, you can attend as many times you want, but I wish you clear the examination on the first attempts. For the cost of the certification, it would be around 4,800 INR as of now. and there is expiry date for the certification. So yeah, I told you this one is like expired on this examination would be retired on August 31st. But if you clear before August 31st, it will be valid for next 2 years, right? So whatever certification you clear, it will be available. I mean, it would be valid for next 2 years. I'm talking in is it 203 or is it 204 as of now. Yeah, and I have one question from Guru Charan. We covered that. Okay, Guru Charan has given answer. Okay, I didn't see it. Yeah, thanks, Guru Charan.
Yeah, so what we could do is, right, Krunal, so let's take a break for 10 minutes and Krunal will be around, so he would start answering questions in the Q&A panel itself, right? So whatever is then published, you can start answering them, Krunal, right?
Yeah, sure.
So whoever wants to be asking more questions, please feel free to hang around. He will be answering in offline in the Q&A panel itself, and we'll just take about 8 minutes break, and then the next session would start from 11:30. Right, Feroz is already here. So the next session is going to be on the certifications related to infrastructure, data on the AI track. Yeah, thank you so much, Krunal. That was a very wonderful session, very informative.
Thank you so much, Swami. It's pleasure for me. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for such an interactive session. Yeah, lots of questions. I like it. Thank you so much. And be safe and take care, guys.